My video for July the 11th, 2019 is entitled, War is a Major Part of the Great Deception. Video number 3143. There have been many times over the years that I have talked about the money con, but perhaps the even greater con game is the one we call war. War is almost always a deception. For example, the U.S. has Iran surrounded with military bases and stations. Why? Iran is no threat to the U.S., and not to Israel either. Of course, the USA Inc. is the war machine for the international bankers, some of which make a false claim of being Semitic. Some Jewish people may be, but the Ashkenazi branch are what Jesus referred to as those who say they are Jews but are not. Yes, it's in the Bible. He called them a generation of vipers. Their con game includes both money and war, the latter, of course, being a hugely profitable enterprise. Frankly, folks, I'm tired of going round and round in circles and seemingly not getting any closer to the fulfillment of my lifelong dream of heaven on earth. Right now, I feel very bored and frustrated. I'm tired of the excuses and continuing delays. Will the wrongs ever be corrected and mankind be redeemed? Yes, we need a Jubilee for real. At least I do. Yes, to say that I'm frustrated and tired is probably an understatement. I struggled back and forth trying to come up with a video because I listened to a thing earlier, and then they got off on global warming and the importance of eliminating gasoline and oil-driven vehicles. And I mean, when it reached that point, I listened for a little while into that, and then I thought, this is ridiculous. That's another sidestepping of the problems that we have. The problem that we have is that liars have been allowed to run a planet. Perhaps other planets too, as I've said, but at least I know for sure that liars run this planet. And I use the illustration of the current situation in Iran, where we probably committed the act of war and blamed it on Iran because some facets in our culture want war. Israel being one of those that wants war. They want to take over the whole world probably, but at least the whole Middle East, from India and Pakistan all the way across into Europe and Northern Africa, and that whole region they want to claim for themselves. And folks, if you don't understand, and this is something that I do believe, Jesus did not exist 2,000 years ago, not the Jesus of the Bible. That was a story that was about 1,000 years ago, approximately. And it took place not in what we call Israel today, but in what we call Turkey today. I've talked about that in other videos, and I'm convinced that that is probably the truth. Can I prove it? Of course not. But I can at least come to a realistic conclusion that some of the things we've been told, based on archaeological discoveries and documents and things that were hidden and finally surfaced in the modern era, if you will, some of these things point a very telling picture. And when a group of people wants to claim you can't touch us because that's discrimination. If you call us warmongers or whatever, well, that's anti-Semitic, and that's a crime. It's a crime in some states in the United States. It's a crime in some countries in Europe. Why? No group of people is so holy that they should not be criticized when they do things wrong. And I don't care whether they're black, white, yellow, brown, purple, blue, or whatever color they are. I don't care whether they're humanoid or angelic or insectoid or whatever they may look like. As conscious beings, we have a responsibility to respond with love. But that's not profitable. Peace is not profitable. And the whole thing is a con game to divert our attention away from what really matters and to get us to butt heads with each other so that nothing good gets accomplished. And peace is not something that the international bankers desire. If they did, and they really had all of this wealth, and they put the wealth toward bringing peace to earth, we would have had peace a long time ago. But no, that's not the intent. There's a dark agenda in play here. And the dark agenda, whether it's fallen angels in some other dimension, I recognize that their players here on this planet Earth are not honest players. You know, the recent arrest of what's his name, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, that's just part of it. There's over 100,000 supposed subpoenas or hidden documents that are waiting to be unveiled that will bring some of these international criminals to justice. Will that ever happen? I'm not going to hold my breath. What I just listened to a little while ago said that by January next year, we're going to be in a completely different world. We're going to be in a world where we don't use oil anymore. We're going to be in a world where we're going to have peace, or we're going to know the truth. I mean, I want to know truth. I want to have peace. I don't think we're going to get away from using oil that quickly unless miraculous manufacturing takes place and provides a completely new alternative to the gasoline engine and to that whole petrochemical industry. I mean, we've got to do a lot of things, but it's not going to happen by January next year, short of some miracle that I have no concept of how it could possibly come about in an unfolding that would make sense. It would be cataclysmic if it came too quickly. I mean, I look for something that's an unfolding of truths and revelations that make us reconsider how we conduct our lives and reconsider who we choose to be our leaders. Again, I think Putin is one of the world's best leaders. What's the other guy's name? The guy that does all the nice 90-something years old and does all the inventing. I can't remember his name. But there are people on this planet that have good ideas and would like to bring peace. But are they the ones that get that the mainstream media focuses their attention on? No, they're the ones that the mainstream media blocks. The people that try to tell an alternative viewpoint. I'm not saying every alternative news media, news channel is 100% accurate. I'm not saying I'm 100% accurate, because all of us are doing the best we can. But so is the cabal doing the best it can to keep us from waking up, because that's not in their best interest. And we've all been part of a great deception. And it's time for a big revelation, a revelation that we've got to stop lying to ourselves, a revelation that our leaders do not have our best interest at heart. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.